What's up guys, this is Sam from Felty Studios. This is video 1 of a 12 video series we're going to do this year about the best gear that you can use for your small to mid-sized church and worship tech. These are also quasi training videos for our tech team at Southside, but also other tech teams that might want to dive further into the material that they're already using. So we have at Southside a lot of different facets of technology. Most of them are geared at small to mid-sized churches, so it's probably what you are using or what you're interested in. So we're going to jump right in. This is video 1, and we're going to be talking about how to utilize Lightkey to the best of its ability, and also why Lightkey is so good compared to having a more expensive console or Nook PC with Grandma software or something like that running. So let's start out. We're going to go super fast but quick overview from the start of what Lightkey looks like out of the box and how we're going to set it up. So the first thing that Lightkey looks like when you set it up is you create your show file. At the top we're going to have our universes, and you'll see your DMX to USB device that you'll have plugged into your computer up here. Once those are connected, basically every fixture that you have right now, we're going to go ahead and line them up in the channel editor per universe, and we can use that through the fixture library on the side. We can also make our own fixtures if we have an older fixture or, for example, LED strip, and we just need 4 channels or something like that. So basically we'll come in here, we'll set it out exactly how we want, we'll go down to the floor, we'll go upstairs wherever your lights are, we're going to set all those addresses the exact same as what they are on here, which I've already done because we've been using Lightkey for almost a year and a half now. As you can see on Universe 1, we have mostly par cans, Fresnels, our front wash, few LED strips, bunch of empty channels, our R2X wash fixtures, Mac 250s. Universe 2, this is the universe that is in our ceiling. Universe 1 is on our, Universe 1 is in our ceiling, Universe 2 is on our floor. We have some Tri-7Xs, some Studio Colors, Mac 250s, and the 6-par 200 from Elation. One cool thing that you can do is once you get it all set up, you've laid it out, you've edited it, you can go in here and you can click on your fixture, go back up to the left corner, it'll bring up this, and we can actually label the short names of all of our fixtures. So right here, short name, I have int for interpreter spot, and I have that labeled on here so that when I go to my editor I can see, bam, right here, int, interpreter spot. So I know that this DMX channel in the ceiling is the interpreter light for our deaf ministry. So the next phase you'll get to when you're done laying out all of your channels in the DMX editor is you'll get all of these will just be in a line here. We're going to lay out all of our fixtures to exactly where they are in the room, and this will help us greatly down the road when we get to we want to do editing for ourselves at home. We can take our show file back and forth. We can also just get a better visual representation here if we maybe can't do stuff in the room. On the side here you see you can do all your truss work, you can do different images. So you can see I have my images here, I have the band laid out, their platforms, a few just staged lines drawn, a few truss fixtures right here, and then I have just our generic light packages right here, and I'll show you eventually why I have those. And then a bunch of unused stuff. These are our work lights, bunch of DMX channels that we aren't using, bunch of extra elations that we're not using. So once we get everything laid out, we're going to talk a little bit about how we create our cues from start to finish. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. One is you can select every fixture, do all your different parameters on there, and save the cue. Sometimes I do this because, well, you'll see. But the other way you can do it is you can go over here on the side, and I highly recommend this because this makes for very, very, very fast editing, and it can help your volunteers who might not know as much, keep them kind of on the straight and narrow of, well, we want this look, here's kind of a bank to choose from. So over here on the side, you'll see I have fixtures, statics, songs, color sways, pops, calms, hot cues. So all of these different things are different cues that I've set up that we can use on a Sunday morning, but also we can create our own cues from scratch if a volunteer comes in for practice and wants to try that out. So let's talk about a little bit how we do that. So right now, in fixtures, I have a few of these set up. I haven't done it all the way For example, the top one is a folder for our studio spots. So this is every parameter we might want in our studio spots, which are the ones that are hanging from our truss. They're basically wash fixtures for the stage. So if we open studio spots, and this will be the same with all the different ones, is you'll see that we have colors and positions, but we could also have zoom, focus, gobo, selection, intensity, whatever we want. And this is how we're going to make our cues very, very, very fast. So let's say we're starting fresh. We have nothing set up. The only thing we have are these fixture cues that we've pre-gone in and set up. We're going to click plus, drag our empty preset to the bottom, just so that we know that it's an empty preset that we're working on. So we're starting to work on this preset from scratch. As you can see, nothing's on, a little bit of the curtains, but I'll talk about those later. Basically, we can go up here to the fixtures, studios. Let's say we're just going to pick a position. We're going to right click on the position that is in our list. We could have a bunch of different ones. We're going to click apply. Apply just applies the position to the cue that we are making currently. Let's say we want to change the color. We're going to go to our color folder. We're going to click, let's say cyan. We're going to click apply. Bam. We've just now added a position and a color to this. We could also have different things, different other parameters in here. All right, great. We have one set of light fixtures that we've done. Let's go to something else. Let's go to our R2Xs, which is our wash fixtures that are on the stage. I only have positions here because I haven't, like I said, I haven't gone through much, but let's say we're going to use position 1, right click, apply to the same cue. Bam, we've just added another fixture to our cue. Let's go to our LED tape. Let's say we wanted to add a pulsing feature to that, right click, apply. Bam, we've just added our LED tape pulsing back and forth. All right, let's go to another. Let's add crowd lights. Let's add our stage color. And if you wanted to all the way, let's say you want to make your cue all-inclusive. I'll talk about why we shouldn't be making our cues all-inclusive. We could go to our spots, and we could add, let's say, only our backwash. So we'll go ahead and add that. And as you can see on the stage, we've just made a cue from scratch pretty quickly with just parameters that we've been given us. So like I said, this is a very easy way where I can set up all these different parameters, give the volunteers creative license to make their own cues with the different parameters that we've set up, but also limit them from wilder things such as strobes or just pure knowledge base of having to go to every single individual fixture. Oh, I forgot one. Oh, it's a little bit off tilted, whatever it might be, and kind of make these things fast during practice because we're doing, 4 different songs per week like most churches are. So great, we've done all that. We've added to our cue, update, bam, we've added our cue. So we've just made this cue from scratch in a matter of minutes with all of our different presets that we've had in our folders. So right now I have statics, I have a bunch of static cues, I have songs, I have only one song programmed right now, but a bunch of different cues that we use in those one songs, bunch of different types of cues. So these are cues that I've gone in with the presets or by hand manually to each fixture, made a cue that I've liked, and I've put it in there. And we also give our volunteers creative license to edit those cues when they see fit. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So this is our layout. On a Sunday morning, we'll have this live panel up. And this is basically all that I will ever need myself even to run on a Sunday morning. And here's why it's so simple. So on the left here, we have pre-service. Pretty self-explanatory. Click it on, pre-service lights come up. We're good. This is what we want our pre-service look to look like. If we want to edit our pre-service cue, we go up here to statics. And you'll see that we have pre-service 1 minute, a bunch of different static cues that we have that are shown over here on the left side of the screen. Pre-service, let's say we want to edit it. Bam, turn it off here. Bam, turn it on here. We're going to click edit. Now we can go through individual channels, whatever we want, edit the different cue, edit all the fixtures that have attributes, which are shown by this little blue dot. Great. So normal service is going on. We're starting with pre-service. We're going to go from pre-service to our first song. So, countdown videos 3, 2, adding worship spots, adding a color, taking the pre-service off, house worship, deaf ministry light, blue crowd. So bam, now we're into what we want one of our songs to look like. Now, the creative license and how this gets really fun for a volunteer on a Sunday morning is basically we have enough colors in the color palette right here that I've set up with different looks and lights that we can match anything that's on our center screen. So we don't, it would be better obviously if we talked beforehand about, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, but sometimes just the way that things work in the workflow that we work with during the week is we need to be on the fly, be able to change colors, go back and forth, whatever we may be. So we have all of our statics on over here. And this is why I talked about creating our statics cues differently. So basically we can change whatever we want, but we know that we will definitively not mess with the worship spots, which is our front wash. We'll definitively not mess with our house lights. We'll definitively not mess with the interpreter light, but we can change everything else. And we know, because you can go in here and you can set priority, we can set this to highest priority. So even if we overwrote one of the parameters in this static cue that we've made in one of these other cues, if we have the priority set to highest to 9, this will not change what is over there. And all of those work the same. So you can manage those priorities eventually down the line. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let's say we're going through the song. Okay, this is a verse. Let's say we want to go into a little bit of a chorus. We're going to add a little bit of motion. I'm going to add the backlights in too. Cool. Okay, let's say we're going to drop back down again. Maybe go to like a little bit more purple feel. Obviously I have the work lights on still, so it's a little bit brighter than normal. And we can do all these different colors. Let's say we want to go to a big part of the song. We can go to all white, super bright. And then we want to go to orange. We can go to orange. And we can change these colors very easily. Over here on the right, you can see I have all my different spot positions. So let's say spot position 2 is leading a song. We're going to click that, have them, and we can take and we can make it so that only their spot shows up on stage. Excuse me, that is not a great example because it is very dark. But basically we'll do this throughout the service. We'll do whatever we need to do. And then we'll get to the sermon part. You know, bumper video comes up, we'll black everything out or whatnot for the transition. Then we'll add sermon color and sermon spots and we'll fade those in. And we're into the sermon, end of it, prayer type thing. Come out of here, come out of the color, add another color, come off the spots, add the spots, and we're back to worship. It's very easy to do those things and also be flexible with it in real time. So one thing I want to talk about how I use Lightkey even more creatively is I have these hot cue buttons right here. And these different hot cues are fixtures that I've made already over here in the hot cue folder. And these different hot cues are lower priority than these color cues, but they can edit the attribute in real time of this. So here's an example. Here's just one of the hot cues by itself. So these are all of our floor washes moving pretty fast for an upbeat song. We also have a slower one for a slower song. I can flash the back bright. I can do a trash can ending and flash all of it. I just have a generic all white out for maybe like a big part of a song. I also have a wall light flash. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a wall light flash for the sides over here and the house lights. So I can use these hot cues in conjunction with our lights that we have up. So let's go back to kind of the way that we run our worship. And let's say we want to add a hot cue. So let's say we want to take our worship cue that we have kind of set up now, and we're going to add a hot cue, which is moving some of our fixtures. So now we're moving the same color, the same zoom, the same focus, the same gobo, whatever you have, but we're just changing the position. And we can do those things in real time. I can do a trash can whenever I want. I can do a faster movement if I want. I can send all of them out and be white if I want. And I can just do these different things. I can make as many hot cues as I want. I can also change the parameter of the hot cue over here in the show properties. Oops, excuse me. In get info, I believe. Yep, over here on the side. I can change what type it is. I can change if it's a push button or if it's a latch. I can change the color of it. I can label it. I can decide, for example, over here on the pre-service one, I can decide if it comes on at startup. I can change the fade times. I can change what type of modifiers it is, which means that if it has a modifier on it, it can be controlled by something else. So for example, a lot of these have modifiers on it. We can open our our tap tempo. We can open our tap tempo. And now, for example, like one of these, where is it? Oh, here we go. Like these lights will tap in the tempo of what we're doing. So for example, if I divide it by 2, we're doing things slower. If I speed it up, everything goes faster. So these light cues are added to that. So this is really easy for us to direct lights on the fly. We can change our haze value in real time. We can change our house lights in real time. I also have this controller over here on the side, and this controller gives me individual control of different things. As you can see, I have them all labeled right here. So I have my zone 1 spots, my band spots, center, walls, blinders, and house lights. And I also have some of these push buttons set to the hot cues. So as you can see, like push one of them, push the other one, hot cue. So this is really helpful because let's say we're trying to do something sporadic, or I wanted to add the blinders, have blinders right here. I can just add those whenever I want, super bright. I can change the house light value whenever I want. I can turn it off. Let's talk about why I have all these laid out here. If I want to design stuff in real time, I just want to know where stuff is pretty fast. And it's really easy to select all of these fixtures at the same time. So if I go to design, bam, just selected all of the lights on the background. I can change their color super fast, super easy, whatever I need to do. And then I can release them by clicking the top middle right here. So this is how we use Lightkey on Sunday morning. I feel like this is a pretty foolproof way to use it. As long as you can really dive into the info of the different cues that you're creating, really work on these fade times between your different segments that you're trying to work on. Worry about your priority. Priority is very important because we want things to come on and off in the right order, and we want things to be modified by other cues or maybe not. So we have to worry about our priority. A few final thoughts on this is if you have any questions, feel free to let me know below. One of the things I've started to dive into is MIDI queuing. MIDI queuing is super easy in here. Basically, you set up whatever cues you want. You right click, external control, and we click add trigger. Maybe you're using multi-tracks on stage. You just connect those like you would from your multi-tracks to ProPresenter, and we just click that, add an address, make sure they're talking to one another, and it's pretty easy to get MIDI queuing set up. Another cool thing that you can do is, I don't exactly remember how to do it, but you can add cue bank lists to this. So you could have even statics and cue banks that are, you have cue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're clicking spacebar, 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 and then we're just going on and down the line. Another cool thing that I like to plug, something that we've been using, as you can see on stage right now, is we have been using the Govee lights strips. We've been using the color curtains, and these have been super fun. Basically, poor man's LED wall. As you can see, I'll put it on the screen, but they have a bunch of different scenes, and this was super fun for Christmas time. Like we had a little Christmas tree action on the back, stockings, gingerbread house. But like I said, if you have any questions, leave it down below. We're going to be doing a bunch of different videos about a bunch of different pieces of equipment. Again, if you have any questions, just let me know.